What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Urban FinTech at the G Spot Studios channel, where we try to make finance and technology sexy. I'm your girl, G. And today we're talking about the top 50 largest companies outside of the United States that have market cap, revenue, and profits that are super huge. And so we're looking at the 50. Number one is oil and gas in terms of industry, and that is Aramco. They're at $1.6 trillion as far as market cap goes. Annual revenue, $480 billion, and then their annual profit is over $100 billion. Second is a company that specializes in semiconductors, and the name of that company is TSMC. 1.2 trillion, 96.7 billion in terms of annual revenue, and 40 billion for annual profit. And then next we have an IT company called Tencent. They are just half of what the semiconductor company did. So they're at over 640 billion. And so they're bringing in an annual profit of about 27 billion annually. And then next we have CBC. They're into banking. Underneath them is an IT company, SAP, in the 5th spot. Samsung is in 6th place with their electronics, and their industry is considered tech hardware. And let's see, I keep getting booted out. And then you have a banking company at number 7. Looks like it's out of China. You have retail with Alibaba. Banking again at number 9, and then a semiconductor company at number 10 with ASML. And then you have the Louis Vuitton brand, so household and personal items at 11, and then another household and personal underneath. You got drugs and biotech at 13, food, drink, and tobacco at 14. And this one is weird because it keeps looking like a Pepsi sign to me. There's a couple of them on here that look like that, but I'm assuming that they're based out of China. 17, Toyota, just kind of going down a little further. L'Oreal sits at number 20, so that was a really huge shock to me. Household and personal. But if you know one thing about the petroleum industry, I did a video on that in regards to how much of an impact it really has on the United States economy, as well as some of the other larger, richer economies across the world. And so petroleum is used to not only refine gasoline products and oil, but also used in cosmetics. And so that's a huge deal. So L'Oreal sitting up there at 20. You got Nestle at number 21. Who knew that they weren't an American company? I didn't, so that is news to me. Shell at 26. So gas and oil is pretty heavy on here, and you have those down the line for the next few places. And then you also have tech hardware companies coming in, some banking companies, retail, aerospace, and defense, which is pretty good to see up there. Insurance is up there. Again, retail, household and personal, tech hardware, capital goods. And then you have insurance, healthcare, telecom, and materials, with BHP being at the 50th spot. And so they're coming in at $130 billion market cap, $53.6 billion, and then 11.4 in terms of profit. So some key takeaways is that China actually leads the most valuable companies outside of the U.S., which there's no shocker there, right? So there are 12 out of the top 50 that we just talked about or looked at. And then 13 if we're actually counting the China Mobile, which is located in Hong Kong. Hey, thanks so much for the like, share, and subscribe. Now, luxury and tech firms are kind of lumped together. They earn premium valuations for their sales, while resource giants lag despite massive revenues. So you have these luxury companies, Louis Vuitton, I think they make different liqueurs and things like that. And then a lot of the tech firms, which are much newer, who have higher premium valuations, particularly around their sales or whatever the product is that they're working with. But the resource giants, so people who are doing like oil and gas, maybe natural resources, they lag behind a little bit. And that could be a number of reasons. I really won't even get into it. The other takeaway is that Europe actually thrives in brand-driven sectors like luxury and pharma. And we're used to that. When you think about luxury items, you think about countries over in Europe. And so you think about like the Italian leather, or some of the Italian fancy cars that they have, German cars. They're really luxury vehicles in the US. And while Asia drives innovation, tech, and hardware, that's where Europe really thrives in the luxury and pharma aspects of things. So it's really interesting to kind of see this breakdown about companies that we really don't think of in terms of, where physically their location is, but how their economic impact can, have influence in various markets across the world. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I found it very interesting. Curious to know what you think about some of these companies. Oil and gas is pretty, noted on this chart. However, I personally foresee that maybe changing with a lot of the different alternative energy sources that we're looking at, and that have been kind of taking shape over the last, decade or so. So what do you all think? Is this sexy to look at all these different companies that are really making headway and making lots of money? What does that mean for your portfolio? What does that mean for how you invest? Anything shocking on here for you? Curious to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. See you next time. Peace.